account that knew my name.
Okay, I need to just write this down. I've been staring at my screen for the past hour trying to decide if I'm losing my mind. And I think the only way to find out is to say it to someone else. Anyone, even strangers. So here it is. I found an account online that knows things about me. Things it has no right to know. Things I've never told anyone. And it's been there for a long time. Before I existed, if the timestamps are real. I know how that sounds. Just stay with me. It started the way most unsettling things start. With something small. A vanity search. You know how it is. You're up too late, you've had a glass of wine, and you type your own name into a search bar just to see. Everyone does it. I do it maybe twice a year. My name is not common. I won't say it here, but it's the kind of name where, when you search it, you mostly just find yourself. Your old profiles, that one comment you left on a forum years ago about whether dogs can eat blueberries. The usual archaeology of being alive online, but this time, there was something new in the results. A profile page on a platform I barely use. One of those old social bookmarking sites from the mid-2000s that somehow never died. A username, and the username was mine. Not my name, not my email, my nickname. The one my father gave me when I was 4 years old. The one only people who knew me as a child still use. The one I have never put on the internet. Not once. Not anywhere. I sat there looking at it for a long time before I clicked. The profile was sparse. No photo. No bio. The account had been created in 2007. I was 9 years old in 2007. The activity log showed almost nothing. A few bookmarks saved over the years, widely spaced apart. No comments, no follows. Just a username that should not exist, and a thin trail of saved links stretching back almost 2 decades. I scrolled through the bookmarks. Most of them were normal. News articles, a recipe, a video of a solar eclipse. Nothing alarming. And then I found the folder. It was tucked at the bottom of the list, marked as private, which is why it hadn't appeared in the initial search, I think. But I was logged in on an old throwaway account, and something in the site's permission structure had misfired, because I could see it. I could see inside. The folder was titled "For When You're Ready." There were 43 links inside. I want to be precise about what I'm going to tell you, because I know how easy it is to hear a story like this and think the person is pattern matching, seeing shapes in noise, finding meaning in coincidence because that's what frightened humans do. So I'll just tell you what was there. The first link was to an obituary. My grandmother's obituary, posted 3 days after she died, which was 11 years ago. The link had been saved to this folder the day it went live. This account made in 2007, had saved my grandmother's obituary in a private folder in 2014, under a username that is my secret childhood nickname. I kept scrolling. A link to my high school's graduation ceremony livestream, archived. A link to the apartment listing for the first place I ever rented. The specific unit, the specific building. A link to the local news article about the car accident I was in 4 years ago. Just a fender bender, nobody hurt, barely even made the paper. It was all there. My life. The quiet parts of it. The parts that don't make anyone's highlight reel. Just collected, saved, filed away. The most recent link had been saved 6 days ago. It was to this subreddit, my post history, my account, and there was a note attached to it. The bookmarking site has a feature where you can add a private annotation to any saved link. Most people don't use it. This account did. The annotation said, "She's getting close now." I want to tell you, I immediately logged off and called someone. I want to tell you, I was sensible about it. Instead, I spent the next 3 hours trying to figure out who ran the account. The username gave me nothing. I searched every variation of it, across every platform I could think of, and found no other traces. The email address used to register it was from a provider that no longer exists. There was no profile photo, no IP I could access, no linked accounts. I did find one thing. The account had once in 2009 commented on a public post. A single comment 2 years after the account was created. I almost missed it. It was on a message board, so old it hadn't been indexed properly, just a cached ghost of a page. The comment said, "Don't worry, someone's always keeping watch." And the post it had been left on was a thread from a parenting forum. A mother asking for advice about her young daughter who was having bad dreams, who was afraid of the dark, who kept insisting something was in her room at night. I don't know how I know this, I just know it. That little girl was me. My mother was on that forum. I found her username in a post 2 threads down. The same gentle writing style, the same particular way she types "good night" as one word. She never mentioned the account that had replied to her. I don't know if she ever saw it. I closed the laptop after that. I sat in the dark for a while, thinking about the folder name. For when you're ready. Ready for what? Ready for whom? There are a few possibilities as I see it. 1, someone who knows me very well, a family member, an old friend, made this account as some kind of long-running, elaborate, joke, tribute, surveillance project, and has been quietly collecting breadcrumbs of my life for 17 years without saying a word. 2, it's a coincidence. A stranger with the same nickname who just happens to have touch points that overlap with mine. The obituary for someone else's grandmother, a different car accident, a different apartment. But the annotation knew my account. It linked directly to my post history. There's no version of coincidence that explains that. 3, something else. I keep coming back to that comment on my mother's forum post. Don't worry, someone's always keeping watch. At the time my mother posted that, 2009, I was 11. I was having the bad dreams. I was scared of the dark. And something wrote to my mother and told her not to worry, that someone was watching. I want that to be comforting. I'm trying very hard to let it be comforting. I opened the laptop again around 2 in the morning. I don't know why. I think I needed to look at the last link again. The one saved 6 days ago. The one with the annotation. When I navigated back to the folder, the annotation had changed. It used to say, "She's getting close now." It said something different. It said, "You found it. That's okay. You were always going to." There was a second annotation below it now. Added, according to the timestamp, 47 minutes before I looked. While I was sitting in the dark thinking, it said, "The folder was for you. It was always for you. Everything in it is something I wanted you to be able to find when you needed to remember that someone has been here the whole time. Someone has always been with you. In the apartment on Carver Street, in the back seat on the night of the accident, in the waiting room, I was there. I am still here. You don't need to be afraid. And then, go to sleep. You're safe." I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. I can't explain the timestamps or the username or how it knows where I've been. But I'll tell you something strange. strange. I was not afraid after I read that. I wanted to be. I kept waiting for the fear to arrive. It didn't come. I closed the laptop, turned off the lamp, and lay down. And for the first time in as long as I can remember, I felt like something was keeping watch, something patient, something that had always been there just outside the edge of my knowing. And I slept deeply, the way I slept when I was very small, before I understood that there was anything in the world to be afraid of. I still haven't figured out who runs the account. I'm not sure. I'll keep looking. Some things are perhaps better understood sideways, glimpsed from the corner of your eye, not explained, not solved, just felt. The sense that you have never moved through this world entirely alone, that the nights you were most frightened, something was awake with you. If you have something like that, something watching over you in ways you can't fully see, then tonight, let yourself feel it. Let that presence be here in this room while you drift. Something that knows your name, your real name, the one you don't put anywhere.